What's up, everybody? This is Eco Builder inside the Hex community, coming to you live from Texas. How's it going? I hope my audio is fine. I think it is. I think it is. I think it is. I think it is. I'm kind of testing it as I'm rolling around here. Okay, so I want to go to a website that is hexstreamers.com. And that's like a TV guide for all the Hex content that's out there. It tells you it just lists what's upcoming and what has happened in the past. So what's about to come up is chronicalized by hours, and the same thing with what we've already passed up. Um, on this, I see Rags to Riches, Crypto Heartbeat, DJ Cryptomatic, Crypto Coffee, Hex Foodies, Gymrat Crypto. Those are all awesome shows. I actually man the Hex Foodies one, so I'm a little bit biased there. Oh, there's also Maddie Allen, Hex Therapy Live. Again, Rags to Riches listed, and a Wild SJ. SJ, she is from Austin, which is right close to me. And the guy that I mentioned earlier, Crypto Heartbeat, he's from Temple, or that's where he's located right now, which is a little bit north of me. So Texas is being represented in the Hex community. And this show right now is meant to show people in the Central Texas area, Austin, kind of, on meetup.com. Uh, it's meant to show them Hex crypto. And I'll talk about any crypto, but I'm telling you, with this last dip in the crypto market, it has destroyed so many projects. And the reason why is because their architecture is inappropriate. They didn't build the project correctly. They had people manning positions, and those people freaked out. They did their little backdoor switch thing that they can do because the architecture is inappropriate, and the whole thing falls apart. Maybe they freeze the funds. Maybe it is that people couldn't even get to their value. They want to do a bank run. They want to take their value out of a falling asset, and they're not even able to, and they have to just sit there and watch it fall and fall and fall and fall. So I've seen things go from $200 per stock per unit, right? Um, Relating it to the stock market, all the way down to $1.50 or $1.10 or something like that. And then the founders come out and they say, you know what? We realize what we did wrong, and we're going to have a 2.0 come out. And if you have credits currently in the 1.0 system, we're going to give you credits in the 2.0 system. I don't want your shit. Okay. Your stuff sucks. You didn't know it in the first place, or maybe you did know it because you love scamming people on their stuff. You realize that people will buy anything in order to try to get rich. Cryptocurrencies are a situation where people are migrating into finance and to have more control over their finance. But everybody's understanding of finance is skewed. It's messed up. That's why let's see, the banks love their position in our world and amongst our society. They love that, financial advisors, they love that you don't know shit about money, that you haven't had the options that cryptocurrency allows, that they're gatekeeping your options. Have you ever been exposed to a situation where you have to have so much in the bank in order to invest in something else because that something else is dubbed risky by the United States? The the SEC says that, oh, that's a risky asset. You have to have so much in reserve so that you don't go bankrupt in your entire life if it is that this thing goes bankrupt. In cryptocurrency, there is none of that overcheck. So you need to decide what you're going to put your money into, your value into, and you need to be wise about it, and you need to step up to it, step up to the plate. You need to make your own decisions, stand strong in those, analyze, study, start talking to your family and your family members, your distant cousins, your best friends from high school and college, your business partners now. Start talking to them about hard financial decisions in life and the structures of these things, and start to spread the education to the rest of the world, because we have shied away from this stuff. And it's always been some sort of a emotional cord with people. And that's because you don't have the education, institution, indoctrination, organization. We've got we have a dam that is breaking in society. And the sooner you get to know what's up, the better. The sooner you can fortify yourself. And these assets, the good projects, the good products, they're at a low price right now. I don't know how much you know about Bitcoin, but Bitcoin has dipped quite a bit. And it's not that it's dead. It has never died, even though the TV wants to tell you that. So off to the side of Bitcoin, there's Ethereum, and Hex is a token that sits on Ethereum. So you have what I'm trying to say is like this is the ecosystems. You have blockchains, and to get any work done on those blockchains, to acquire or send or stake in order to earn interest, you need to pay in a blockchain. You need to pay a blockchain its native token, and Bitcoin is its own blockchain, and Ethereum is its own blockchain. And the Hex token is built on top of Ethereum. It's plugged into it as of a certain time, from then on forevermore. And me and my buddies, we interact with the blockchain there in order to acquire Hex tokens, earn a yield on our Hex tokens. And that's what I'm here to tell you about, is that there's this wonderful project, this wonderful product that you can purchase. And it is a flawless design that allows you to earn interest. So you take value right now in whatever it is, and you enter it into cryptocurrencies. So like, say I've got an old used car right there. I'm going to sell that car for what? Money? Or are you going to barter? Let's just say you're going to sell it for US dollars. So you get your US dollars. You deposit those US dollars into the bank, and then you connect your bank account to a cryptocurrency exchange. And then you're able to trade your dollar value for cryptocurrencies. And I recommend Hex. You acquire that Hex, and you go to the contract, you go to a certain website interface, and you say, hey, contract, how much interest will you give me if I put forth this amount of value? If I do without this amount of value, how much would you give me? This sounds a lot like getting interest from a bank, right? Okay. But with Hex token, you can get so much more interest than you can with the bank down the street. With the bank down the street, I don't know, you could probably get like 1.5%, 2%. I'm really not sure. But with Hex tokens, you can get 38% per year. 38%. And the larger you put out and the longer you put out, because you're doing an agreement in code, so we have to hold you to something. The longer and larger, the better returns you get. and it really doesn't go above 38% or something like that, but set in the code. But you could have price appreciation of the tokens. So have you heard of inflation? Inflation is where the US dollar gets printed up to where there's a lot more in circulation, and the value of the US dollar goes down. So whenever it is that I go to the store and get raspberries, last week it was $3 and this week it's $4. So that's inflation hitting me, right? It cost me more dollars to get the same item. Well, um, where was I going with that? Oh, price appreciation. So with the Hex token and with all cryptocurrencies, the value of them go up and down. So sometimes it looks like inflation. Sometimes uh, we have to, let's see, sometimes a dollar can get you a lot of Hex tokens, and sometimes a dollar can only get you 2 Hex tokens. So there is this variable, right? But the variable it's just that there's a market set up where people are trading. So this is what people will give over for tokens. The same thing for Bitcoin. The same thing for Ethereum coins. The same thing for. Have you heard of Monero? Um, so what I'm saying is that sometimes the price per unit of a Hex token that you could trade your Hex tokens for other value, sometimes the price of that Hex token has gone up. And then, so it's a reverse from inflation. And they call that price appreciation. So, what I'm getting at is imagine you being at 38% APY. That's a yield, annual yield. That's what it's called, APY. So, if I have 100 units and I submit it for a year and I get 38% added on top of that, I've got 138 Hex tokens, right? And what if the price appreciation also went up? So not only was I gaining that 38%, I was also gaining on the price per unit. So say the price per unit goes up to 300%, meaning it went up 200%, meaning you now have uh, 3 units worth of value that you initially put in. If you get crypto right, you don't have to get anything else right financially. And typically, because of how new crypto is, all you have to do is buy and hold. So, Hex makes it really easy to buy and hold because you go to the contract and you stake it to earn that 38%. So you don't pay attention to it at all. And that's buying and holding. Awesome. Let me go to the chat if there is anyone. I don't believe so. Um, typically, I light this bad boy. And recently, we've gone up like 20% from our lows, our recent lows. And so we've had a lot of green candles lately, going up. That's red candles going down, green candles going up. And it's funny because my live stream earlier today, I told you I'm a part of Hex Foodies. My live stream earlier today, I lit a brand new candle and that thing just burnt all the way down during the entire live stream, which was like an hour and 30 minutes or something. So it might be an all right time marker. I have this labeled Taco Tuesday with crypto. I've got my tacos. Do you have your tacos? I invited a lot of people to this stream. But a lot of people are busy. And a lot of people also don't want to put their mind on the line, in my opinion. There's a local taco shop over here on the square, in the middle of the square. And I love going in there and grabbing some tacos and grabbing a beer while I wait. Usually I finish off that beer before I even leave. But our city has it to where you can have an open container and walk around. No problem walking around on sidewalks. Ooh, these look so good. Maybe this will get your attention to attend next week. So in the Hex crypto community, we are sending out postcards. This is called a Papa wrap, Papa in a wrap, Papa in a blanket. That's what it is. So we've got, I think they're homemade tortillas and beans, refried beans, and then a taco in the middle. And so they're beef tacos. In the Hex community, we have organized some postcards. There's a website, hexpostcards.com, where you can go to and view all the postcard designs that are available. And then also all the links to go over into USPS, the United States Postal Service, are right there. And maybe there's Canadian Post there as well. Whatever the case, you can go in there and you can download whichever postcard design that you think best fits a zip code that you want to direct. And so I personally am going to send out to my local 3 different zip codes. And our community has already sent out 250,000 of these things. And now the idea is, do we fulfill all the way up to 1 million, or do we send out to the same people that we just sent out to, those 250,000, and figure out if they'll start to have brand awareness, if it'll start to catch. This is how marketing works. And then there are people like me who, like, I kind of want to see not redemption, but like I want to see brand recognition in my local area. I want to go up to somebody and then be like, oh yeah, I've seen that before. So that's why I'm thinking about sending them out to my local areas. What else is going on? We got my tacos. I hope you have your tacos. If you don't have tacos, stop the film. Go to Taco Bell. No, go to your local place. Support somebody local. And if you don't have any money for tacos, listen to what I'm saying. Contact me personally. Crypto is such an interesting thing. I don't understand what gets underneath people's asses enough to do anything about their finances and their crypto. I think it's sex. I think that's what appeals the most to people. All I need to do is just be a girl. Just got to do that little bit of change and everything will be fine. I'd get so many more likes on my videos. Oh, heck yeah. This is called Mikey V's Tacos, hot sauce shop on Square in Georgetown, Texas. At the very least, come by and get some homemade salsa. They source it from all over the place. You can get any sort of hot sauce that you want. I said salsa, but I meant hot sauce. And then, of course, you can get stuff that will just burn your butt, for lack of a better term. Um, I just love things local, you know? Like, why do we always go to the Walmart? I don't go to Walmart. In my local area, HEB is the grocery store that like rules the land. I even have issues with them, you know. Um, so I run the Hex Foodies live stream, and I don't know what's going to happen in the future. Like, am I going to continue to run it? Am I going to pass it on to somebody? I don't care about the fees it costs to do it. It's just that it's such a small niche of intellectually stimulating people that I don't know, maybe somebody else would want to take it over. But what I'm getting at is we live in a plastic environment. Just like the finances, we live in a controlled environment with food. If it was that people had everything at their fingertips that they need, our human potential is amazing. And personally, I believe that we're kept down. We could be so much more. And what it is that you put in your body then becomes you physically, obviously, but it also becomes you chemically. And that's something that's overlooked. I wish people paid more attention to that. And I hope that they would pay attention to their emotions day to day. Gosh, I love my Hexkins. So we were trending on Twitter recently, and we are right now, actually. Go to Twitter, check out trending. I actually don't know how to do that. It's probably on the homepage somehow. Excuse me. Hey, have you got your tacos? Welcome to Taco Tuesday. I'm going to do this every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Central. And the reason why I'm doing it at 6 p.m. is because today is my live stream day, but also at 7 p.m., a Bitcoin group out of Austin goes live. And I like to jump in there. My screen name on there is hex.com. And I'll give updates to those Bitcoin guys, everything about Hex. They like to talk about the broad market as well as just anything, social media, dipping into Bitcoin content, what all's going on in the world. But the Hexagon OGs like myself are unique people because we found something way back in the day that could produce yield for us. And we were like, heck yeah. And that sounds like an awesome use case. And the reason why it's so interesting is because it gives you a reason to hold it instead of sell it. It makes it to where there's a reason to not sell it when the price is going down. Whenever people are having value on exchanges, in wallets on exchanges, they can immediately change from one asset to another asset. So something that's happened is there are these things called stable coins, and the stable coins stay at 1-to-1 with the US dollar. How they're able to do that, I'm not really sure. And a lot of these guys are getting investigated. Like how could you hold something 1-to-1 with the US dollar? I created a thing, it has so many digits, right? Each one of those units is worth $1. How do you actually do that? So, they're on the exchanges, people are able to leave their values on these exchanges in whatever coins, right? And then once the market starts to dip, they can just transfer over immediately over to a one-to-one stable coin. And then they uh what is it? They have now routed themselves outside of losing any value to where their US dollar amount stays the same. Um, but the thing that they transferred out of dips because people keep on selling it and getting into something else. Maybe they want the one to one. I don't know. So that's able to happen on exchanges. But um, with Hex Crypto, you could have the coin liquid to where you could trade it, or you could bring it over to an exchange and back again. Um, so you'll have a wallet on your browser, on your computer. You will have a digitized wallet, and it will hold so many Hex tokens, so many Bitcoins, so many Ethereum coins, whatever. But it's that Hex token that you go to the Hex contract and you say, hey, I want a yield on this. Because I own it, I want to put it to work for me, right? And that's what I was explaining earlier. And so whenever it is that you stake your Hex tokens, you do without it. It's no longer transferable value. Instead, it sits in a spot. This I'm summing this up, but it sits in a spot, and the Hex contract recognizes you from your wallet address, and it um, it has applied a value and a rate to your wallet address for you in the future to come back and say, hey, remember me? Let's follow through with that deal and give me my yield plus my principal that I gave you in the first place because I waited the time. Now, if you do not wait the time, you will be penalized. If you if you are not prompt about coming back and saying, hey, the deal's up on the back end, then you will also be penalized. And so there's a 2 week window, and so we call that like the grace period, right? Now, you won't be penalized extremely on the backside. Eventually, it could add up and everything could be dissolved. But on the front side, if you don't wait the amount of time that you said that you were going to, then you will be penalized accordingly, and they can be pretty strict. If you said that you were going to wait out a long time period and then tomorrow you just said, oh, never mind, I don't want to do that, then you could lose everything that you wanted to stake forward. But there's all sorts of warnings. There's all sorts of software that can help you understand that that would be a really, really bad financial move. Um, so in this way, because you're able to cancel it early and be penalized and still receive back something, in this way, this is another example of why Hex Token is amazing architecture, why it's an amazing product, why it's an amazing financial tool. Because other projects, they maybe they wouldn't allow you to cancel early at all. Maybe it is that you have to lock it up no matter what. And so I'm keeping away from saying the word scam. But a lot of these assets architecture is inappropriate, doesn't fit the human being, doesn't fit the times that we live in. It's just bad design. And Hex has it going on. And I've seen this, I've known this, I've put my money where my mouth is, and everything's been perfect. We have a huge community, and sometimes we're rocking and rolling or something, but hey, the product always comes through and does what it says it's going to do. And lately, just like the rest of the crypto market, we have experienced a dip, a very large dip. But just today, we had some awesome green candles, and we have a lot of enthusiasm towards the next run up because everything works in cycles. If you go look at the Bitcoin chart, you can type in CoinGecko.com or CoinPaprika.com, and you can find the Bitcoin chart, and you can just see this thing go up and down, but it just keeps on going up and to the right. It continues to find new highs, and often whenever it's dipping, it's people gladly giving over their value and exiting while other people are staying in it and just holding out. The creator of Hex Token, he owned Bitcoin. He is a person who got into Bitcoin at, I believe, $30, and that thing dipped down to $1, and he didn't sell it. He was just like, "Oh, okay. I guess I need to learn a bit about this." And now, Bitcoin is dipping down to $20,000. What he got at $30 is now at $20,000 at its local dip, right? So think about that. And we're talking about an asset class, right? We're talking about people organizing that everybody recognizes that there's a value inside. I'm wondering if there's a Libertarian Party meeting in less than an hour that I just completely went over my head. I go and visit these libertarian meetings because I was most like a libertarian. I don't vote at all. I think voting then gives the consent to the winner, and therefore spiritually you can't complain. So I don't participate in that stuff, but I do like to see these intellectuals that meet upon this 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 level plane or whatever. So I need to look that up while we're talking. Now I just lost my train of thought. What we have here in crypto is the first time ever. I wish that I bought Bitcoin a long time ago. Somebody talked me out of it. A person who was a deprogrammer for my mind, allowing me to see how I've been coerced in my life. And he was saying that that Bitcoin was a way to digitize everybody, keep them on a ledger, and make it to where they could turn off your bank account like that, right? But it's actually not that way. Instead, you have control of your own stuff from your computer with a physical device that you have to touch a code into physically so that somebody inside of the computer on the other end isn't able to force you to do this physical action. So all of your spending, you decide. Now, all of your receiving, you don't decide. It's just if somebody wants to send you something, it's coming your way. And the way that that works is cryptocurrencies are like a ledger, and your wallet address is right here on the Bitcoin ledger or Hex ledger. And your amount of tokens is right next to it. And so you have the capabilities of sending out of your account from a very secured place, if you wish. I'm trying to think. And then so that ledger that I'm talking about, it's updated by the computers that are set up as a network around the world. And whenever it is that you experience fees to interact with that ledger, that's who you're paying, are these computers that have consensus, that have this network to make sure that everything's appropriate and stood for. I don't think that was confusing. I think that was really easy. So, what are we thinking here? Davin, I may jump on there. You need a few minutes, though. Just go to the... What? I think my friend Victor is going to come on the stream. He seems like he's out and about and needs to get back to the hotel room so he can get on the stream. Okay. Do I have any questions in chat? Anybody want to ask just any sort of question? A Hex question, a Richard Hart question, an Eco Builder question, a Hex community question, a Twitter space question, a blockchain question, a how to become a millionaire question. Why do you guys think that I'm doing what I'm doing right here? It's because I'm an outspoken, freedom-minded person who has become wealthy from this stuff, and I'm trying to let you know this. Follow me, follow Richard Hart, become a part of Hex.com community. Do you have Twitter? Do you have Instagram? Do you have Telegram? Telegram's a really good opportunity to communicate with us. I can't even, how do you tell somebody something that's only experienced by 1 in a million people? You don't. Like, people are just not receptive. It's like I'm an artist of sorts. I have an architecture degree. I practice. I'm a one-man architecture firm. And I've been able to retire because of crypto, because of Hex. And it's like asking, I'm going to get to that question just a second ago. Just a second. It's like asking somebody to draw something like a horse, and they're like, oh no, I can't draw. I don't have the eye-hand coordination. It's like, no, you can have the eye-hand coordination. You just choose not to put in the time to learn it. Okay. Amanda Peace asks, how much inflation does Hex have effectively? Hex has an inflation rate of 3.69%. That 3.69% is paid out only to the stakers. That is the amount that looks to the staker as the 38% APY. The reason why 3.69% to a staker looks like 38% APY is because we're talking about 3.69% of the whole system of Hex. And the stakers, there's only like 10% of the whole system that gets staked and that's earning its share of that percentage. And so I couldn't tell you how much per year the 3.69% is, how much per year the 3.69% is, but I can tell you that percentage. So let's see. I can go to Hex Daily Stats. Daily Stats. And so this is hexdailystats.com. I can see that the hex price is 4.2 cents. The T-share price is $948 US dollars. The T-share rate is 22,812 hex. T-shares are trillions of shares, and shares are what you receive whenever you stake hex. So if I go to the hex contract and I say, hey, what sort of interest could I get back for this amount of hex that I could give you? And you strike a deal with them with the contract. It's you and the contract, so it's just code. So you say, oh yeah, that looks good to me. What the code says it's going to give you. And so you stake it. Well, I told you it pays attention to your wallet address and it credits you. So you can return back later on and from that same wallet address. It has to be from that same wallet address. Well, what it does is it pays attention to how many shares you have acquired and how many shares are accredited to your account. So you no longer look at that principal that you gave them. Instead, you're just looking at your amount of shares. And so here on this website, the hexdailystats.com, the fourth line down, it says payout per T-share. All right. So imagine me getting 10 T-shares and for my hex tokens that I staked out. The payout per T-share for today was 6.267. So let's just say it's 6 hex per T-share. So if I had 10 T-shares and then I get 6 hex per T-share, so I earned 60 hex today. And because it's code and because people are able to stake every day and in stake every day, there needs to be a stop and start time period. So this thing has calculated it based on the 24-hour period from start to stop on that day that we got 6.263 hex per T-share. So I can technically say that today, with those 10 T-shares, I earned 62 hex tokens today. But it's not going to credit my account until I wait the whole time period of my stake and I return back with that same wallet and I say, hey, I'm ready to end the deal. Get it? And if you do quit early, depending on how early it is, you might still get some of this interest, this daily interest that you've been earning. But if you end it really early, like less than 50% of your wait time, it'll start to eat into your principal. And we know what principal and interest are, right? Principal is the initial that you give up, and interest is the amount that you earn because of your principal, because your principal was put to work. And typically, I wanted to mention this earlier. Typically, the bank, your US dollar bank, is the person who earns the most out of you going and participating with them with your hard-earned value. Hex makes it to where, and cryptocurrencies make it to where you are one-to-one with the code, no middleman. So delete that middleman. You pay the fees that are on that blockchain, and now you have your abundance of interest, your abundance of everything working for you with no middleman to pay. Let's see. Amanda P also asks, so RH's share isn't staked. RH doesn't have a share. This is just a system. RH might be one of these wallets. He might not even have any Hex token. RH is Richard Hart, richardhart.com. Richard Hart is the creator of the Hex token, the hex.com. You can find him on Instagram. You can find him on Twitter. You can find him on Telegram and YouTube. And I highly advise you watch his live streams whenever they come out. And I highly advise you acquire the Telegram app and follow Richard's calls is what is a really good place to get all the current updates of what all's happening. If it is that you don't want to pay attention to all the gossip, the rumors, the drama inside of a cryptocurrency, financial type, like it's almost like finances hit Facebook and everybody's talking about this or that and how can I get a better this or that, or what's free, what's mooning, what's trending. If you want to get away from all of that, just subscribe to Richard's calls. The reason why Amanda P is asking me, so Richard Hart's shares isn't staked. Richard Hart's share isn't staked, meaning he has a lot of Hex tokens. There is, I have to explain this. So here's the whole Hex system. And then there's the staker class, the 10% or so that's being staked and people are earning interest on. This huge blob of Hex tokens, some of it is in liquidity on exchanges, moving around from one place to another. Some of it is liquid, sitting in people's wallets, maybe even people who also are a part of that 10% staking and stuff. But this huge bundle of Hex tokens is there to make sure that it doesn't experience an attack. In cryptocurrencies, if there is a majority owned by one malicious unit, then the cryptocurrency could go under attack. If it is that Ethereum or Bitcoin had a lot of their amounts inside of a malicious person's wallet, then they could start to sway the network of computers that's around the world that works on consensus. They could start to sway them one way or another and start to get them to go off a path that is inappropriate. And this is what I mean by architecture. And that's why I'm praising Hex.com's architecture so much, because you can't attack it. Now, people outside who are untrusting of other people, they would assume that that the code isn't written well enough, that somebody made a mistake somewhere, and that, hey, Victor, welcome.
Hey, buddy, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Yeah, I can. I'm explaining the large majority of Hex tokens that are still sitting with the origin account.
Okay.
In order to keep the project running and away from being attacked maliciously.
Yeah.
Now, what I'm also trying to explain is the social stigma behind one account being created and holding all of these, and like who is behind it, who owns it, who could move these things this way or that. So my friend here, Amanda P, in the chat, she asks, so Richard's shares, or Richard's share of the whole isn't staked. And that share that you're talking about, that large amount with the OA, is not staked. The OA keeps it liquid. And so I probably misinterpreted her question, because it came right after talking about how much inflation does HEX have effectively. And I explained it's 3.69% on the whole, but it's the 10% of staked HEX wallets that earn the portion, the 3.69% portion, that then to them looks like 38% per year. And then whenever it is that we're talking about, yes, the origin address, who has a large portion inside of the entire liquidity ecosystem, or the entire HEX system, yes, those are not staked, so that the stakers then, at the 10% amount of stakers, or the 10% that's being staked, then earns that large portion. So Amanda has a or is that this?
Adam.
I keep saying Amanda because dude, I have dyslexia like crazy.
No worries.
So I have a friend named Amanda P, and I just wanted to think that was Amanda P. So
makes it easier when you picture your friends out there.
Yeah.
Leave the comments, But no, Adam, that's actually it's not really 38% inflation. No, you're conflating a couple of things. No, the inflation is actually locked in at 3.69% per year. That's locked. He says, "Call me Amanda." That is locked. And it's funny. It's actually deferred a little bit because of the amount of stakers that are in the product. So because so many people push their stakes out and delay their gratification for so long, we're at an average of 6.6 years for payouts. Because of that effectively translates to something along the lines of 2 and a little bit of maybe 2.2 or something like that % per year, because of how many coins are actually pushed into the future. But no, it's set in the code to be only 3.69% inflation every year, which is like I said, when you add stakers to that kind of pushes that down back and defers it. But the 38% APY, that's how much you would earn on an average stake, an average length stake. And that could be, if it's $10 or $10,000, you're going to get 38% on that stake if you stake it for the average length of time, which right now is at 6.6 years, give or take. And you could double check all this on hexdailystats.com. It'll have the most accurate numbers available. But yeah, that's the 38% is because there's only about 10% of the circulating supply is staked. Whereas if there was 100% of the circulating supply was staked, we would be 3.69% APY for the average stake. And of course, if everyone was staked, then there would be very few coins on the market, which theoretically would push the price up tremendously, because there would be such demand for the coins because there would be so little supply. And conversely, if very few people were staked, 1% of the people were staked, well, then you're talking 369% the APY for that 1% of people who are staked, or 1% of the staker class. So there's a good the Crypto Sparbook guys have a good graph that shows that visualizes it from 1% staked, which is, like I said, it's 369% APY versus 100% of people staked, which would be 3.69% APY. So you can just kind of visualize it in that way. But right now we're at about 10%. which equates to that 38% APY. And that could fluctuate some depending on how many people choose to stake their coins versus hold them liquid.
I pulled up hexnoob.com.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good website that has all sorts of links. Here's links to exchanges that you could use to acquire Hex, and gas calculator, MetaMask link there.
Yep.
MetaMask is a wallet that we recommend for Ethereum stuff.
Yep.
You can download it for free, absolutely free. And then hex.com has a website. And then richardheart.com. Richard has a website. And all sorts of things that he's been doing to try to get people's attention towards this product. Oh my gosh. This is the best, in my opinion, the best interview that anybody's done with Richard.
It's a very good one-on-one interview, kind of breaks down who Richard is, where he's from, why he created Hex, why Hex is a great product, and it really covers a lot of bases. That's a good introductory video to the product.
And then whenever it is that you've acquired Hex tokens and you want to stake them, you can go to this this interaction that's go.hex.com. It's a front end. You can see right here that it says we're on day 932.
Looks like we're about 30 seconds from turning over to day 933.
Ah, sweet.
So that means we're about to get paid. Anyone who has T-shares is going to get paid. Anyone who has shares at all. But we usually use T-shares to denominate how much you earn in yield per day. So if you have one T-share, most likely you'll be getting 6 Hex or about like 6.1 or 6.2 Hex. And once this it just clicked over now. So you'll probably be getting around 6-ish Hex per T-share. And right now T-shares are about, what would you say?
It was 22,000 Hex, which was 943 or something like that.
Dollars. About $1,000 will get you one T-share. So, in dollar terms, you're investing $1,000 to get a T-share and you could get that for, well, $1,000 would be a T-share at 6 years, 6.6 years. But, that's paying you every day, 100% uptime. Every day at this time, you would be getting a payout that would be locked in to the smart contract.
So on go.hex.com, there is a tab at the top that says stake, and that's where you can enter in some values and start to understand with this table off to the right what sort of return you can get on that principal. And then
it's fun to just put numbers in there and play with it some.
Definitely.
And then it's grayed out right now because it looks like Davin doesn't have his mask connected or his wallet connected. But once you connect your wallet, you can kind of play around with the numbers a little bit and see how long staking for this amount of days is, how much have you staked this portion of your bag, and what the anticipated returns would be.
And then this down below would list your active stakes and your stake history, so the previous stakes, and there's a column for how many T-shares, so you can keep up with that. What was your initial principal that you put in? How much yield you've earned thus far? And then you would just scroll over here to the right, and that's where these little buttons would be to end your stake, or before the time period's up, or right on time. And then everything goes in days. So you'll have a start day and an end day. So if you were to stake Hex right now, it wouldn't start until day 934.
Right.
Whenever tomorrow's kicks over, then it would activate. So you could actually stake it and then decide, oh, wait, no, I don't want to. And you could pull it back out, and it would only be the Ethereum fees of initiating that stuff that you would be charged. You wouldn't have started your stake.
Right. Yeah, I was going to mention that as well. Yeah, that this is the time period, 7:00 Central Standard Time in the United States. I don't know what, I think it's 0 UTC. is the
I
is the
think
official
so.
time. Yeah, that's when that counts as a day ticking over. So you can plan your staking accordingly.
Cool, man. I want to know what's going on. You're on the road, and I just watched the show from this morning. I haven't finished it fully. There's maybe like 10 minutes left. I think y'all are about to get funding, Jim, to come on.
Yeah, he comes on for a few minutes. He
Okay.
has a couple ideas. What Davin's referring to is I was on a show. We have a show every Tuesday and Thursday morning called Wake Up Hex, which is a community driven show where we just kind of throw have fun, throw some memes out there, talk about what's going on in the community. Some of our more well known influencers are on that show, and I was on that show earlier this morning.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is.
It's one of my favorites.
It's great because I love it's a good mix of people,
Yeah, it is.
And I was talking about a project we're working on called the Hex Postcards, and Davin's involved in that too. And we're basically doing direct mail marketing. And we've got a gentleman named Philip Banks, and he helps print out, and he's got good contacts to print out and send these cards at cost. And he's what we're using to kind of help do this project. And we were just spreading the word about it this morning, and I think it went off pretty well. And yeah. So that's how it's going. I'm also supposed to talk with Corey a little bit about it. There's a guy on Twitter, Corey's Crypto Coins. I'm going to talk with him a little bit later about it. I don't know if it's going to be live or not, but yeah, I had the opportunity. I'm on the road, and I'm on the road for work. It's not it's not pleasure, but I've got some, just sitting at the hotel room, so I have some time to chat on live stream and just do a little work while I have downtime here. But yeah, I'm out here in South Texas, and that's what's going on with me. What about you, bud?
Cool. I just came back from a week and a half worth of just doing all sorts of things, going out west. So I went over to Navajo Nation.
Okay.
A friend of mine married into the tribe, and then we went along the grandfather's paths in some sheep herding. And that was my first time to ever do sheep herding.
Oh, cool.
I announced everything inside of the Hex Foodies chat, t.me/Hex Foodies, if anybody's interested. And so announced it as we're having a get together if anybody's down for this sort of thing. But oh my gosh, it was pretty gruesome hiking. For some reason, we did not go in a straight path. We went all over the place, and then those sheep kept trying to find little places to hide in the shade, and you'd have to go in there. Yeah.
Oh man, that's so much fun.
And,
wow.
And you ever wonder why a sheep herder has that big hook on their it's because they go and they grip the neck of the sheep to pull them out from little places that they're hiding. And
yeah,
so the best thing to do with sheep is to get them in like a line, basically, so that they don't start to group and all this mischief starts happening and they start getting sidetracked. And so if there were any bad dogs, if there were any dogs that just were lazy or something like that, you don't want them around, because they'll corrupt the whole pack, And then afterwards, the guy that invited me out there to that, by the way, Rogue Herbalist was there, a Hexican from Salt Lake City. Okay. And this is in Navajo Nation, the northern part of Arizona.
Okay.
Yeah, where there's no fences, and all the land is you're allowed to just wander around because it's all owned by the tribe. But it's really just a glorified land trust, and we people in crypto should understand that, because of what government tells us everything is, right? So we left from there to go up to Montana, where he and I actually originally met. And we were going to go help out another friend up there in Missoula, Montana, outside of Missoula, Montana. A friend of mine for the last 10 years has been running an institute, a university, this back to the land stuff, these holding courses that are appropriate technology courses. And permaculture design courses. So permaculture is like the big word, the best word to describe everything. So we helped this friend of ours build on another friend's 200 acres. So he has 1 acre lot to himself to where he can natural build on it. So we literally chop down trees, peel the logs of those trees, and then run a bandsaw back and forth and
Yeah.
mill the 2x right there on site. And we're erecting, constructing, doing interior finishes or clay slip straw. So
Yeah.
like mining the clay, getting a barrel of it to the right consistency, dipping straw into it to then be the insulation of the walls. So the
Okay.
filler in
Like the
between.
mortar.
The filler in between, it's not the mortar. Instead, it's the interior of the wall. On the outside, you would have like maybe
Okay.
wood plank is I think what he's gonna get. Wood plank.
Okay, interesting. So did y'all finish?
No, we didn't finish at all. But we had a hell of a fun time, work
That
party.
sounds like a lot of fun, man.
And-
Very back to the, back to return to tradition there. I love it.
Yeah.
That's great, man. That
So
sounds like a
yeah,
lot of fun.
and then I drove 36 hours back over here in just like, a day and a half, 2 days. So I made record time, but I think it's about time to buy a new vehicle. I don't know if my vehicle's gonna be able to make the next trip. But that's what's been happening here is like my spirit is like slowly finding myself again, because I think I like outpaced it. You know what I mean? Like where you travel so much and you're just like, okay, I don't feel right.
Right. No, especially if you're driving alone, that's a long time to be kind of,
Mm-hmm.
by yourself in the car. So.
And I'm proud that my back was pinching a little bit yesterday during Father's Day. By the way, happy Father's Day.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
But it was pinching a little bit, but I think I'm feeling okay.
Okay.
I didn't feel any pinches lately.
Yeah. All right. Man, that sounds like fun, dude.
So you're gonna go on later with
yeah, I don't know if it's live or not, or if it's pre-recorded, but yeah, it's he's on Twitter a lot. His name is Corey's Crypto Coins or something like that. He does a lot of YouTube stuff. He's based out of New York, and so I was just gonna do a little bit more about talking about the Hex Postcards project, and just chat with him a little bit, and I'll probably just goof around Twitter some tonight, and then just sleep, go back at it later or tomorrow, back to real life. I'm doing some work on my 9 to 5, and heading back home tomorrow. But yeah, I mean that's all that's going on with me.
And for anybody who's wondering, he's also Texan.
Yeah,
we're both Texan.
Yeah, I'm out near Houston. And
there's a large Texan community. T.me/Hex Texas is our group of 120 Hexicans strong, and we're having meetups more and more. We'll probably have one every season, if not every month, coming soon.
Yeah, we're already chomping at the bit. I think Dallas did you go to that last one that was up in Dallas last month? Or
I didn't go to CZ's one, but I think there was one just like last weekend.
Yeah, that's what someone was talking about in there.
Yeah, and it wasn't like announced prior.
Yeah.
Yeah, Texas has no income
state
tax.
Income tax. Yeah.
State income tax, yeah. So Amanda asks, is Pulse safe from spam attacks? Solana and Nano had some problems. So Pulse Chain hasn't yet come out. So the specifics haven't been given out to us, but there is a testnet out that everybody can trial. Do you have more to say on that? Because I really don't.
No, yeah, I mean, I don't really have much to add there. I'm not familiar with Nano's problems. They haven't been a major thing, at least in the past couple of years. I don't think. I'm familiar with the coin itself, but I'm not really well versed in that. And Solana, they're constantly down. I hear that they're down so much, and they do so much they have so much control over, just recently we heard in the news that they put up for vote that one of the major players in their system they're voting on whether to take his coins or not. So it's like kind of
Wow.
weird. Yeah. Cause he has so many coins and they're so close to being liquidated, and they worry that it could cause so much trouble for their whole blockchain. So it's very kind of sketchy. I don't recommend dabbling in Solana at all. As far as spam attacks goes, I don't know, like you said, Davin, Pulse isn't out yet. Pulse Chain isn't out yet. So right now it's in the test net, and I'm sure they're well aware of any attack vectors in regards to spamming or DDoSing, anything like that. So, but if you're interested in doing more with Pulse Chain, you should definitely, for one thing, you should definitely play on the testnet some. It's open to be played with. There's a lot of stuff you can do. Go to pulsechain.com, but also.
Well, I can't hear you. Oh, you froze. Come on, come back. I'll let you finish that thought. The next thing that I'm going to go to here digitally is the Austin area Bitcoin meetup, and I am placing it in the chat right now. So that is a Jitsi, which is kind of like Zoom, Jitsi meeting room, where maybe 10 Bitcoiners from around Austin will be going. Again, that's just placed in the chat right now. If Victor is going to stay frozen, then he bounced off. Oh, he's back. Cool.
Yeah,
so
sorry,
you said
I don't know. There's hotel internet might have
you
off.
bounced off at. You should definitely check out the testnet, play around on that, and then you froze.
And then also, I was going to mention the Telegram groups. There's the Pulse Chain Telegram groups, and there's a live chat going on 24/7. So feel free to join that, ask any questions, kind of fill them out and see, like, how is it compared to Solana? How is it compared to BSC? How is it compared to Matic or whatever else? There's definitely more people more qualified than me, certainly, to answer questions about the nuts and bolts of how Pulse Chain operates and how it can defend against any attacks.
Cool. Over in the chat, I placed where it is that I'm about to go. It's the Austin Bitcoin meetup from meetup.com. I've been connected with some Austin Bitcoiners, and they have stopped using Zoom and they've started using this Jitsi, meet.jit.si. Anyway, I don't know who has interest in doing that, but that's what has already started maybe 16 minutes ago. I think they go from 7 to 9 Central every Tuesday. And so I'm trying to do this every Tuesday as well. Taco Tuesday, if anybody wants to bring tacos.
Yeah, I just stopped over some Mexican food. I'm out here in Corpus Christi right now.
Cool.
Had some fajitas that were pretty good.
I bet. Well, cool, man. Thanks for coming out. And
yeah, absolutely.
I loved seeing your work earlier today on Wake Up
Thank you.
Hex. And,
I love doing it when I get a chance to. I just, as Davin referred to earlier, he said Happy Father's Day. I just actually had my wife gave birth to our baby daughter, and so she's been, filling up a lot of my time, and we've been trying to kind of get a feel for, having this our first child. So it's like kind of it's tiring, but it's rewarding. So, we're working on that right now. But thank you, Davin. Thank you for hosting this. I always like jumping in, talking with you, and chatting with whomever you got in the comments.
Cool, man. Love chatting with you as well, and it's wonderful to hear that everybody's healthy in your household.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so thanks so much, Amanda, and maybe we'll see you next week. Cheers, everyone.
All right.
Go.hex.com. See y'all later.
Right. Cheers. Bye.